Valley Club, BattleWorld details were revealed earlier this week. How much fun will the new game mode be? Zombie, Scarlet Witch, and reworks of the Undying team are on the way. Will this bring the team back to the meta of war? And how impactful will the Nightstalkers be with the new Cosmic Crucible and War Rules? We're discussing all of these things in this edition of your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. Joining me this week, all the way from the Great White North, is my brother DorkyDad. If you're ready for all of that and more, the DorkyDad, let them know what to do.
Valley Maniacs, let's go smash it.
And welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I am ValleyFlyin, this is DorkyDad, and this is your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. We will be doing this every single week from now on. Had a little bit of a break because of some trips that I had to take, but we are back. I'm finally talking to someone about Marvel Strike Force. How have you been, DorkyDad? It's been way too long that I've talked to you or anybody about this game. How has the game been for you? How much fun have you been having the game? Lots of changes to discuss this video.
You got a really good positive vibe going right now, so I'll just, like, it's still a game. I still play it. It's still fun. There's still very, very good moments of fun in this game.
Yeah, I'm more happy to talk to somebody about the game. It's been me talking to a camera for so long, so that's what I'm more happy about. I mean, the game has its ups and downs, and it's you know, it has some good and it's bad right now, but happy to talk about it because I haven't done it for a while just because of the schedule that I've had. But one of the major things, BattleWorld, my goodness, this game mode looks very, very fun. We've had a tease of this for a while now, and we got some new details about this. What is your first impression when we first heard about BattleWorld all those months ago at the Envoy Summit?
Super excited, super excited, because at that time, I believe it was either at the time or just a little bit after, I played the Lord of the Rings, flash in the pan game we had, and they had this mode called Raids. Yes. Which to them looked a lot like this, and that mode in that game felt like it had so much potential, so much fun to be had, but the roster depth didn't exist in that game because it was brand new. Yeah. And they just weren't servicing it really well. Marvel Strike Force is like a really well-oiled engine right now, and I feel like it has a lot of potential to have a mode like BattleWorld be just countless hours of fun for people to dive into.
Now, that's kind of a worry, right? Because countless hours of fun means extra screen time. How do you think they're going to handle the extra screen time with this? Are they going to reduce some time in maybe War, Cosmic Crucible? Obviously, they seem to reduce Blitz and Real-Time Arena significantly. So where do you think the extra screen time is going to come from? Because obviously, this is going to take some time. And what the devs have said many years ago, I don't know if they're still sticking to this, but they wanted like a few hours a day at max in this game. And I know sometimes War alone just takes a few hours if you're really hardcore into that. So where do you think the extra screen time will come from to account for BattleWorld?
Yeah, so if this is supposed to be zone 1, right, this would be 1 day's worth. So what do we see? We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 missions, which is 5 extra fights a day. It depends if they put a timer on that. That could be an extra 25 minutes a day if it takes you 5 minutes, if there is a full 5-minute timer, right? So I think that eventually, if these are set in stone, players would have the solution for it. They would put those teams in, and it would kind of just become a little bit like Raids 2.0, as unfortunate as it is to say. I think it could become like that, which means that maybe one day we would see a sim button added to this as well to reduce the time. And then, the big fun is Knull at the end, which hopefully would never be something you even consider simming.
Now, how fun do you think these boss battles? I know there was a playtest that you guys were able to give feedback on. I know you can't give your feedback to the community about what has happened there. So fun factor on these missions. I mean, what are you expecting when it goes live? Because obviously there's going to make some changes based on your feedback and stuff. Once it actually goes live, how fun do you think these missions will be? Because it appears you're going to play with, these 5 sections and you can just place characters into special ops, right? Yeah. You think these will be like fun missions or like puzzles to solve or just sim or just auto?
Well, it really depends on what they do with gameplay. So if the gameplay has these different effects, like, hey, maybe this node has whatever Scourge is activated, or there's like a shield operator doing the 4 out of 4 thing, or if they go way outside the box and they have these brand new game mechanics in, I think it'll be very fresh and a lot of fun. But again, this game mode, they've said in the last blog, like, hey, this is going to run every single week. So if these are, static node requirements, I don't think it's going to be super fun 4 months from now. I think when the mode first comes out, it'll be super fresh. It'll be a lot of fun. We will find those solutions when new characters come out that fit these tags. We're going to have new things that we could do here to either make it easier, faster. Maybe we'll activate the ability to sim or whatever the case may be, right? So I think it's going to be an insane amount of fun right away. That fun will peter off. And hopefully by the time it peters off, then it's no longer some sort of big screen time grab.
So kind of like the raids. New raids are always fun when we get them, but then as we do them for months and months, the same thing, it kind of gets repetitive. So hopefully they have a better solution with this than they have in the raids. But one of the big interesting things that I saw here, that everybody saw here actually, down here in the reward section, it mentions you can earn shards for Knull character shards by playing BattleWorld with your alliance. That was a surprise to me because I knew he would be the boss. We knew he'd be the boss. I don't think they announced it behind the scenes, or if they did, I wasn't aware. This is the first time I heard playable character for Knull. How difficult do you think it's going to be to unlock Knull? How strong do you think this character is going to be? And for most alliances, a couple months, couple weeks. What is the time frame you think it's going to take to get this character?
So again, I'll draw on the experience I had from that Lord of the Rings very brief moment where they had, I think it was. The wizard's name from Lord of the Rings?
Gandalf.
Yes, thank you. So Gandalf was a similar situation. You didn't fight Gandalf, but they slowly trickled his shards to you based on how you performed in the raids. That, I think it did take a few weeks, if not a couple months, to get the unlock there. And at the end, he was a legendary level character. He was amazing, lots of fun. Eventually you would get him maxed out that way, which is cool. So it's not sort of like, these vaulted characters we have now. So you can kind of expect a steady flow of him until he's maxed out. So I think that's really cool. As far as how good he's going to be, I hope it's not the same level as the boss that we're going to face, right? Because then it means either the boss is going to be boring and easy or the character is going to be stupid and broken.
Well, do you think it could have the same possible kit? Because this is a lot of health. 538 million health on this that we have to fight. And as far as we don't know what his resistance and stuff is. 24 alliance members. As far as the estimation, is this going to take a few days for a lot of alliances? Are most alliances going to be able to do this in one day, or are you trying to race through all these zones so you have as much time to get to this to beat the boss? Because that's where the most challenge is.
Well, the zones are timed. So literally the way it's going to work is there are 6 zones, and they said this in the blog. There's 6 zones. Each zone lasts 24 hours. It doesn't matter if you max out the victory points. You have to wait the 24 hours, and then it's going to check, hey, did you get enough victory points to move on? You did. Okay, now you're in zone 2 for the 24 hours. So then on the 6th day, there'll be Knull. Now to answer your first question, if this is the same kit as the Knull we're going to get, it's going to be a horrible, horrible game mode. Because just imagine this. Imagine if it was Apocalypse or Super Skrull or Mephisto, and they had those kits, but they just had insane stats. Like, how boring and dull would that get after a while? Like, he's gonna have to do things where there's like stuff happening around him.
ultimate, or something like that, just to make it, okay.
Or it's like, hey, if you have 3 characters die, that's gonna refresh. It's gonna have to be something like that. I'm sure the kit we get will be reminiscent of what this boss version of it is. But if it's the same thing, then it would be a very dull fight. I don't think Scopely's gonna go that route. So I expect that it's not going to be the same character whatsoever, but still a badass character.
Now, what I do remember saying is you might not get enough victory points to move to the next section. And I guess that's kind of what I'm worried about. If you don't have enough victory points, do you think, like, if I added these up, this like 4,000, you add all these up, it doesn't equal to the 60,000. So I'm not sure if I'm calculating this wrong or something like that. But some alliances may not beat the boss. Do you think that's a problem, or that's just something that, like the chase, you have to work up to?
So this is zone 1, and I assume these victory point numbers are just placeholder numbers, because you're right, it doesn't add up.
Yeah, it doesn't add up.
So it doesn't add up if it's all 24 people. If a single person can get this much points.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
But then it gets you too close. Like, one person can almost beat the entire zone 1. Then it wouldn't make sense then, right? Unless the victory points.
That is the way to describe it back in the Envoy Summit, though, right? It's just a few alliance members, and you can move on to the next zone if everybody. You don't need all 24 participating.
Right.
That's what it was described back then, right?
Yeah, I don't think you'll need all 24 to move from zone to zone. I don't think it would be 2 players can get you through there, though. But everyone can play it. And the way I would imagine a Marvel Strike Force version of this game mode to work is the victory points are going to go towards some sort of milestone that you get. Like if you go to the last slide.
Yeah, this leaderboard type thing.
The leaderboard, but also the victory point thing, right? Victory point.
The reward. I see. Yeah.
So I imagine that you will get a surplus of victory points per zone as a general rule, and that's going to get you further down. So the more players in the alliance that are getting victory points, the better reward tiers you're going to hit, and then of course there'll be some sort of seasonal reward that like your alliance is competing against other alliances.
That makes it more null shards.
Yes, exactly.
Now, as far as the prep, they mentioned a few teams here. We also see some teams in there, including a new team, but they mentioned Hive Mind, Extreme X-Men, Spider Society, Alpha Flight. Obviously, they could change a lot of things from what you did on the playtest because you gave them feedback and they did mention a few changes there. Do you think these are the only teams? I mean, they say mentioned to power up the following teams. Do you think these are the only teams? If we build these up, we should be able to have no problem with BattleWorld, or we would have a few other things to build up?
No, I think there'll definitely be more teams than just those guys. Look at the two cosmic sections, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I want to mention later.
Yeah. So in game, they also had an offer come out for Annihilators that was labeled like, "Hey, prep for BattleWorld, buy some Annihilator shards," right? And then you look at Spider versus Mill, not Spider Society. So I think the 4 tags they gave us, as a general rule, those are just good teams because they're raid teams, right? You're going to need them built up. And they hit a lot of things. So we got city characters, we got bio characters, mutants, skill, some mystic characters in the Spider Society, as well as tech, I guess.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So build up these teams because it'll give you the traits that you need to get to each of these sections back here.
Yeah, I think it's more like an all-encompassing thing. And the only team that I think would be the exception to that would be Alpha Flight. I think Alpha Flight probably gets a node like you see the Pegasus one there, Astro Pegasus. I think a zone is probably going to have Alpha Flight on there because if you look at the Alpha Flight tags, they're all over the place. They're all hero global, but we have better hero global teams, right? You'd have the Illuminati, you have the Extreme, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But what they do, they have a bio character, a tech character, a mutant character. I think it's 3 mutant characters. And the only the only tag that really brings them together is the Alpha Flight one. So I do think there'll be a specific Alpha Flight node. But who knows if it'll be paired with a different team that you'd rather invest in. Right here, we got presumably a new team, Astral or Pegasus. Maybe it would be like Annihilators or Alpha Flight. So I would not invest in any of these teams right now. I would definitely wait and see.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how much we could send Astral right now, so I'll let you guys do your guesses in the comments. What do you think is going to be coming with this Astral team? But they mentioned Pegasus here. I'm not sure if this is a placeholder, but if this is really in the game, is it worth building Pegasus at this point now that the Orcus is out? I mean, they're not farmable yet, so they're gonna Pegasus may have a shelf life for free-to-play players for another few months, but once Orcus becomes fully farmable, going to be out of there. Should you still build Pegasus for potential use in this game mode?
Man, that would be the worst thing that they could ever do to new game or new game players, because it's a dead team. You don't use it in raids. It's not good to work, not Crucible.
Older players already have it built up, so not a problem. But newer players that have to build up an old team would be bad.
Yeah. Or wait, is this Astra? Is this a new team? Is it going to take 60 days to unlock them or 90 days to unlock? So this would be a really bad taste. This is zone 1, right? This would be such a bad taste in the mouth of players. And if you look here,
hopefully it's placeholder, because these points may be placeholders as well, right?
Yeah, I hope it's all placeholder. But if you look at just the graphics underneath, right? In the city section, there's a little guy. In Spider-Verse, there's little guys underneath them. But underneath Asher Pegasus, that's purple ISO crystals. So I don't know if this is going to be a mission that gives you rewards. So is this where we can get extra purple ISO crystals and ions? Because we know purple ISO is going to be an integral reward system for BattleWorld. They told us that. So that would really bother me. I think you would probably still be able to move on to the next zone just using the first 4 sections plus maybe some spec ops, which I guess is fine. But I would hate it.
I think the way it was described to us, you might not need to do all these zones, so maybe do these first 4 fully the spec ops, and even if you don't do this, you can still move on. And this is just for like the leaderboard and extra rewards and things like that. Hopefully that's how it's designed. I mean, there's a lot of questions at this point, but I'm looking forward to this game mode. I'm looking to see how it is when it eventually launches the game, because it's gonna be different than what you guys play tested. All right, now as far as the rewards, we have some of them here. I'm not sure if these are placeholder numbers, but it says first time rewards when you reach certain amount of victory points, some ions here, some crystals for the for more of the shards for the crystals, the T4s as well. What do you think of these rewards? Do you think these are placeholders? Do you think these are going to be the final rewards? And if these are the final rewards, as far as beating these difficulties, what are your feelings on the amounts?
Yeah, so I would assume, based on these amounts, I would assume it's not very hard to climb through difficulties. We're getting a brand new mode. Players should understand this isn't going to start at endgame. Players start on difficulty 1 and they struggle to get up to 5, because they said level 75 players should be able to mix it up. So I think that the endgame players will probably race through these first couple of difficulties, whether they're gated or not. We'll probably settle around difficulty, maybe the one before the last one or the second one before the last one. Who knows what it's going to be like, right? So I think that that's why these rewards are not immeasurable. They don't seem super impactful, and that's okay. It really depends on what kind of weekly income we're getting anyway. If you go to one of the other pictures on this slide, though, I believe, it must be on the one above. They shows you like the milestone awards that we were looking at a second ago, and it shows blue ISO there. See the blue ISO crystals. So I'm wondering if we're going to be seeing purple ISO here. This gives me hope that either this is a super
maybe it's a lower difficulty, maybe.
Yeah,
and then higher difficulties get the purple stuff.
Yeah, it's because it's 4,000 at 20,000. We know the first zone gives 60,000, right? So, but this also just does give me hope that this is just all placeholder text. We won't need Pegasus, and other things that we see here on these images might be a little bit changed. But I think what's going to matter the most is the weekly or the milestone rewards that we're getting from this mode, as opposed to the first time difficulty stuff.
Now, what are you looking more for this mode for fun factor or just some good rewards so that you compete in other game modes?
So I want the fun factor. I think that there's going to be a really puzzle to solve here. I think it's going to bring alliance captains together. You're going to have now a BattleWorld captain that'll kind of set it up like, hey, for this thing right here, the Spec Ops, hey guys, I need to know your rosters so I can kind of say, okay, you are going to be putting these characters on Spec Ops, and now we need to find out what the solution is for the nodes for your actual gameplay. So I think that there will be a really big strategic fun side of that at first, and then I think it's going to be kind of like raids, where it'll be a little bit boring. You're just going to go in, do what you need to do. You already know what you need to do. You just need to do it every single week. What I'm looking for the most in BattleWorld is really interesting boss fights, and eventually the boss will wipe you, right? But I'm hoping that we find ways, because I think if it's like Raid Shadow Legends, you kill the boss, and then, hey, you just start over and you fight the boss again. And that's how you differentiate leaderboards, right? How many times you kill the boss. So I'm hoping that as BattleWorld progresses, as we get new characters, we build up old characters, as the case may be, it's going to be in the case that we find new ways to last longer against Knull, to do more damage to Knull, to push that. And I'm hoping that this puzzle, this boss fight, is going to be kind of the apex of the game mode, and that part won't get boring until the next BattleWorld comes out, where hopefully we'll have another super cool character, like maybe Onslaught, or who knows, right?
I'm looking forward to this. I mean, you could progress, right? You like to see progression in these kind of games. And even if you're doing the same fight every single day, you're like, oh, I did 1 million damage this day. Oh, I did 2 million damage this day. Oh, I did 40 million damage this day. You know, so that I think will be satisfying, at least for me. I'm not sure about everybody else, but that kind of little incremental growth in my roster and stuff is like, it feels satisfying for me. I'm looking forward to this.
I agree.
All right, so you were probably one of the first to predict Zombie Scarlet Witch coming to the game. I think you bought a Zombie Scarlet Witch Funko Pop back and all the way last year. Wasn't even announced that there would be more Undying characters. Yeah, you have it right there. I think I have the video of you buying it in that Funko Pop store for the Envoy Summit. Yeah, there it is. First to predict it. Zombie Scarlet Witch is the character. I think at that point they said, like, yeah, I think we'll have another Undying, but we're not sure who it's going to be yet. So you knew before even Scopely knew. What are your thoughts? Zombie Scarlet Witch coming to the Undying team, and one more coming to the full team. Do you let me just, do you think they're going to continue this with a 6th, 7th every year? We're going to get a new one, or after the Undying, they're going to stop after that and do another Halloween team later?
I think we get 2 more. I think we'll get. Yeah, I think we're going to get it to the point where Hela gets zoned out. They already kind of hinted at Hela getting zoned out by the Zombie Iron Man passive kind of getting unlocked. But like, you still want the Greg there for the Juggernaut and everything. So she's not done. But I think that, the next character, the character after that, could help zone the hell out. I think eventually we'll get 5 zombies.
Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. That's like 2 years down the road. We still have one more character for the Undying next year. But Zombie Scarlet Witch, my goodness. Let's talk about this epic tag real quick. Epic character. I know some people got some fear with that. The last release was not a very friendly release, had a lot of heat in the community. Captain Britain was a very expensive character if you wanted to unlock him on day one or get a very big usable Captain Britain. So do you think this will be similar to Captain Britain or the last Undying character, the previous epic character that we got in Zombie Juggernaut, where you could get some shards for him, get the unlock? He is usable right now, but we don't have any farmable shards for him right now. So do you think we'll get the unlock and then no shards later on like Zombie Juggernaut, or it's just limited like Captain Britain? And where is your prediction for this epic character?
So, I mean, best case scenario, this follows the same trail that the zombies did, right? Where you get them unlocked, low stars, and lets you pay big bucks, and then a year from now they come farmable. So I think Zombie Juggernaut will be farmable soon too. Yeah. As far as the big concern, is this going to be like Captain Britain? Yeah. There's 2 tracks, right? The money that they made from Captain Britain is going to tell them, just run it back. Who cares? Do it. Or the sentiment the community had, and people did quit over Captain Britain, and people are still upset that they don't have Captain Britain yet. Yeah. Hopefully that was loud enough. But the big problem is Scopely has in the past set a precedent that when they do something that is not received well, they bite the bullet the first time, and the second time we're kind of more used to it. So we just kind of shrug our shoulders and be like, yeah, we kind of figured it'd be like that. We're not happy about it, but we're not as angry about it. So they've already kind of absorbed the worst of that fallout. Part of me just kind of assumes it's going to be like Captain Britain. Maybe that's the pessimistic side, but I'm hopeful it'd be like the other zombies.
It's Halloween, though. It's Halloween. How could you not give a Halloween game? I would be super disappointed, super excited if they don't even have a free-to-play release for Zombie Scarlet Witch. She is going to be a fun character. This kit, her base. I mean, let's talk about the passive, because I think that's the strongest side. Characters killed by Scarlet Witch cannot be revived. Barrier to the self. On turn, does not have exhausted. Flipping bleed for self undying allies. Yep. Zombie Juggernaut, she's going to revive him if he doesn't get revived. War offense, lots of bonuses. How impactful will she be in this Undying team, outside this Undying team, in war, outside of war? Where do you see her value?
Outside of war, I'm not so sure. Inside of war, this team is light years above the other teams now, right? You know how Captain Britain stops the speed bar in Crucible? If you scroll down to Zombie Scarlet Witch's passive, I believe it's when she's above 50%, enemies cannot gain speed bar, right?
Yeah, just like the Captain Britain.
So Iron Patriot doesn't stop on spawn speed bar because his vulnerable doesn't happen until after spawn. But Captain Britain stops it completely. Scarlet Witch spawns in with 50% life, so I assume that this spawns in with her. So this could stop speed bar war teams in their tracks. This could stop Panda Pool in his tracks from defending Old Man Logan, right?
Yeah.
So this could be a super hard counter to Mercs for Money, to Skrull teams, to any character that needs speed bar to kind of pop off. Like, this definitely seems like a crazy addition to the Undying team.
And the counter as well. You know, if you're trying to counter Undying on defense, they're not going to get any stuff from Greg dying. So,
well, actually, this is war offense. This team is war offense only.
Well, you're not going to play some on defense, because I did remember something on defense. Maybe I'm misremembering that. Yeah, maybe I'm misremembering. I thought I saw something on defense about it, but I'm using it on more offense. Now, the thing that made me concerned, you need Mephisto or Odin to stop this zombie invasion. Is that literal or is that figurative? Do you think you really need Mephisto or Odin to stop them? Is that the counter that this team is for?
No, I think that line is just a figurative.
It's just a figurative line.
Well, no, I think that is just a line telling you, like, hey, don't expect the Undying team to beat Mephisto or Odin teams, because the perma-kills from Mephisto still just ruin the Undying team, especially the buffs they get on spawn. Like, Mephisto doesn't get speed bar on spawn, he gets speed stat, right? So he's still going to do what Mephisto does. Odin is still just going to, he's going to counterattack all of his own bleeds off, and then he's going to just murder the Undying team with perma-kills and stuff. I think this is just their way of saying, like, This team is going to be good, guys.
They're going to be strong. They're going to be strong.
Yeah, they're going to be strong, but not Mephisto or Odin strong.
Okay. Good. Now, we also got some stat increases. We didn't get a lot. We got really nothing for Zombie Juggernaut, just bringing his stats kind of current with the current stats of the current meta. Zombie Iron Man did get his stats increased. We'll talk about his kit changes, and Hela didn't get too much of the changes. She got some stat increases and then more text changes just to get some clarity for this. But you said the biggest change was a zombie Iron Man. What is the big thing that Zombie Iron Man has now?
So now the mind controls are no longer excluding enemy characters that have bleed. So like if you had an enemy character that was really low life, but they weren't going to be getting targeted by these mind controls, right? Because it was mind control the primary target, most of your enemy that does not have bleed. Well, this would often get like your priority kill target to be immune from that mind control. So they took that hindrance away from Zombie Iron Man, which is going to make this team just function a whole lot better. Outside of war as well, right? That's right. Yeah.
So we got some new Crucible rules to talk about. We got some new war rules to talk about as well. I think they're going to be very, very impactful on all that. But let's talk about the new character released in the game. Another vampire, Oath. Ooh, all right. Now I tried Blade and Moon Knight and Agatha with a few different forts and fits. I could not even do a lot of damage in the Mystic raids, but tried Oath last night, 4-piece with Val. Beat the Orcus difficulty 3 with this level of Nightstalker. So is this the solution for the Orcus raids? I've heard there's other solutions. I've heard lower difficulties, Bifrost still works. And I know with Mephisto Odin, though that still works as well. But I've heard another team, Ultimus, Deathpool, MILF, Agatha, and Moon Knight also works. I tried that. I didn't get to work. Did I play that wrong, or is that only for lower difficulties?
I'd have to try it, but it feels like it'd be a lower difficulty thing. Because I had some teams that work on difficulties 1 and 2 sometimes, but when you get to difficulty 3, like it's tough. Did your team beat difficulty 3 with Vol? That's very interesting. I like that.
Yeah, I did it the first node. I didn't even attempt a second node or the boss node yet, but they beat the first node with Vol. And I did. It was a 2-shot because who got? Oh, I think it was Val that got one-shotted by somebody. I think Val got one-shotted by Nova. So they can beat it. It's a 2-shot, but they're not fully built. I'm impressed with what they're doing so far.
Yeah, 100%. I would suggest you try Deathpool instead of Vol for that speed bar on spawn. I tried that on difficulty 2.3. My team is giant though. My team has Crimson gear on all of them. 6.
Yeah, I didn't want to put Crimson gear on for the test purposely.
Yeah.
So
I know that's the move. That's the content creator move. I'm very bad at content creating.
Yeah, it's not the raid move. It's the creating content move. Don't put the Crimson gear on him yet.
Exactly. But I do think Man Thing is going to bring the team together. Right? The reason I like Deathpool there, and I got her to work for Node 1. Node 2, I got it to work one time, and then I tried to replicate it. It didn't work. And then my phone died before Node 3, so that didn't work out. But Man Thing, he's going to be the glue that brings the team together, right? He's the one that's giving them the speed stat. And then as they get kills, Oath continues to rewind them. So the combination of the extra speed Man Thing gives and the turn meter rewinds from Oath is going to be the full solution. So the 3 new characters are kind of going to be the heart and soul. And then you could sub out the other 2 for a character like Mephisto or Odin. But right now, I still don't think they are the no-brainer solution, unless you could put Mephisto or Odin with the.
Gotcha. So yeah, it seems like there are some solutions right now. There's some ways that you could beat this. You could unreliably beat this once in a while with this team with a 4-piece and maybe Deathpool. Maybe MILF is the solution. I don't know. But it looks like Man Thing is needed for that consistent win, especially for the sim. And it definitely, if you don't have Mephisto, you don't have Odin, you don't have some of these other solutions at the higher difficulties, maybe you do need Man Thing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Now, we will talk about this team when we get to the Cosmic Crucible and War Rules, because it is all about this team. But as far as the release method of Oath, there is a little different that we're doing here. The pity system got changed. We used to have some milestones for the pity system. As you open these orbs, you get a few guaranteed shards for the pity system. Now, every 20 Nightstalker orbs open will reward enough shards for the New Blood orb, which is the big orb for Oath, right? The 675 power core orb that has a minimum 6 drop and the jackpot of 180 drop. Is this a better or worse pity system than the Milestones, in your opinion?
It could go either way. It really depends what they do, right? Like, how many Omega Sentinel orbs did we get? 5, 2, 3? I don't even know. I feel like we got none. So it depends how many Nightstalker orbs they give away to us. I don't hate it. I like the idea that we don't have to have the pity system event in the events tab, because the events tab is just going crazy. So in that regard, I like this is just like a hidden pity system. But yeah, it all depends on how they levers, right? And how many they give us.
This is my Omega Sentinel right now. I didn't buy Omega Sentinel, 38 out of 100. So that pity system didn't work very well for me. I did buy Oath, so I'm not going to see how many. I did bought 100 shards of Oath, so I'll see if I would have got the unlock based on after her event and stuff. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. If you get the jackpot, this is obviously better because 180 shards versus the 100 shards of the other one, and then getting a few trickled down. But I guess we'll see if it's better or worse when we actually have a few players use this. All right. Yep. Cosmic Crucible rules. This is the big thing. Cosmic Crucible and War Rules, actually. And it's all about the vampires and zombies. Nightstalker characters, 20% more damage when attacking a character with bleed, gain offense up, and Undying characters gaining more max health. And when attacking character with bleed, gaining defense up. Man, building zombie Scarlet Witch, building Blade, building Man Thing. Is it worth it to build them if you are a Cosmic Crucible freak? Like I am sometimes.
Nightstalkers 100%. With the raid room, which I'm sure we're going to talk about, and with their use in raids, just Nightstalkers is a no-brainer team to build up. They are amazing. I know a lot of people are upset with how Blade's performing right now. I'm telling you guys, when you have Man-Thing giving him the speed stat and Oath giving him the speed bar, and Blade is getting turns before he gets killed, it's a different animal. Blade is performing remarkably well. So Nightstalkers for sure, for Crucible and for their intended use. Undying, I'm not sold, man. I'm just not sold on them losing all their war kits, the speed up on spawn, all that kind of stuff. I think there's lots of counterplay to Undying. I'm excited to be proven wrong because I do love the idea of a usable Scarlet Witch, my favorite MCU female character. So hopefully, but I just don't see it.
Do you see Undying more as an offense in Crucible this season? Because I don't see them on defense at all. I think they're, you could find a way to counter them when you see them, but when you're bringing in a team, you could choose, which teams you're bringing in.
Yeah, it's going to really depend on what kind of opponents you see.
Carnage type of stuff, Death Pool.
Well, it depends what kind of teams you see. So yeah, definitely on defense, because there's lots of counterplays to Greg's, right?
Yeah.
But on defense right now, like I see Annihilator Skrull, Black Knight Illuminati, Orcus Mephisto, Spider Society. I don't think they would do very good into Spider Society, who's going to be clearing bleeds all over the place. Like, I just don't think Undying would have enough kit variance to excel in Crucible offense or defense, unless you put like Odin with them. And even that, I would be concerned about taking on like Annihilator Skrull.
All right, let's talk about these new rooms, because the global rules are going to be interesting. I can't wait to see all that stuff. This one was a little confusing to me. On hit, applying vulnerable up to 20. Strikers will apply 3 vulnerables up to 20. Other characters, 2 vulnerables. But when attacking, you're getting more damage per vulnerable. So you're giving them all these vulnerables. You're making them a little weaker, but you're giving them more damage. And in turn, no vulnerables there. This is going to be interesting. I kind of like these kind of rules that you give them a little benefit, but a little negatives as well. So this is going to be a weird one. What are you thinking with this one? There's a lot of characters vulnerable. Cabal is what I think of with Iron Patriot. That's the first one that comes to my head. Interesting that they're going with the switching ISO 8 classes again in this room stage 1.
Yeah, I read this completely wrong at first. I thought it was how the person getting attacked has, they get hit harder. It's not. It's how many vulnerables your character has when they're doing an attack. So like you said, this is kind of double-edged sword. Like, you're getting to put more vulnerables out there, but then you're getting smashed when they take their turn eventually, right? So it's going to be a balancing act between, like, how do I abuse getting the extra vulnerables and having my, because you always want your team to go first. How do I get my team to go first, but not load the enemy up with so many vulnerables that if they survive my attacks, they're going to one-shot me? Because 100% damage is crazy. Imagine you had a
vulnerable up to 20. Oh my goodness.
But imagine you accidentally gave Skrull 10 vulnerables. And then Skrull's like, oh, I survived with 1 life.
Let me out.
Here's a basic attack. With an extra 1,000% damage,
the
basic
chain,
your entire team.
yeah.
So I think that this could be a very scary room. And it's either going to be a room that's going to really impact Crucible crazy, or it's going to be a room that we quickly find out we just circumvent by killing things quickly enough.
It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be cool.
God. All right, rules of combat. I think we've had this before. On successful attack, defense down to each target. Hero characters, villain characters, successful attack, apply defense down to each target. Hero characters, apply offense down to each target. Interesting room. Any thoughts on this? We've had this before.
Yeah, that's one of the nothing rooms. We always need a couple nothing rooms in the Crucible.
All right, raid room again. So another room that the Nightstalkers may get some benefit. Bifrost was horrible when these rules first came out, but now they got the lower resistance to healing. So this wasn't as bad when they added this. Any Orcus Nightstalkers come to my mind?
And just good luck in this room, guys. That's all I gotta say. The new characters, the new stats with the speed stuff they're getting on. Plus, you got to throw in the
updated stats. I forgot about that.
Yeah, like it's not going to be fun. They're so fast. They're so deadly. They're so scary. I do think it's going to be like, hey, who bought the biggest raid team? Let's see what happens. We'll quickly find out what the best team is here. It'll stay in there forever. Not super excited, but there is one shining star called North Star, who's going to be an interesting character in this room because we use him currently to topple the hardest raid nodes, right? The Spotlight boss node, the Orcus 3, but he stops Speedbar in its tracks. So maybe we can get use out of him against Orcus, stopping that Scientist Scream. Not the full Alpha Flight team, just him as a plug and play character.
Yeah, I use him still in Cosmic Crucible as a plug and play. Same with Guardian as well.
Yeah, so I think that there might be room for North Star to maybe save us, but at the same time, as we see in the tech section of Orcus, he can be used against us too. So maybe he'll be part of the nightmare defense team that ends up in there.
Oh, this is going to be a crazy room. Right. Flashbang. All characters on offense, even with blind, lower the character's speed by 5%, armor by 25%. Ultimate abilities, apply blind to the primary target.
Yeah.
Interesting one again. I haven't really theory crafted this. Have you put any thought into this room? Because lots of blinds, and there's a lot of unavoidable attacks as well.
Yes, this is actually a repeated room too, and that's the funny part is because you forgot it was.
I forgot. I didn't realize
it didn't affect anything then, so I expect it not to affect anything now.
Okay, this one seems interesting. Masters of Evil combined with Unlimited X-Men, all their bonuses should count. What? Kang, Titania, Gambit, Rogue, Nightcrawler.
I love that team
on defense. No, or is that too strong? Is that too? Is it? Well, splitting up too many teams.
They wouldn't get speed up on spawn on defense, right? So because Kang only does it on the offensive side. I don't think this is going to be a defensive headache. I think this becomes a nothing room for defense, but it becomes cool. Like what you're going to have to put on defense here is what you think, a Kang Rogue combo won't beat from our offense, which I think is interesting. So I like the idea of being able to play with Unlimited and Master Evil on offense. I think there's actually going to be a very powerful team that people are sleeping on. But this is only one stage. I kind of wish they would put rules like this as the global rule. So like something for the new teams and then something for the old teams as well.
I like it. But you got to win the next tournament and suggest that for the global rules.
All right. I don't know about that.
All right. The next one is Updog's rules. Reduce all healing by 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
And we were talking about this spawning with safeguard, immunity, and defense up. It's kind of like, we don't need the cockroaches anymore. All teams are Infinity Watch with safeguard, immunity, defense up. That's what made him such a nightmare with them. And no healing. And I asked you this question, is Drain going to count as healing? Like Apocalypse has Drain. There's a lot of characters that have Drain. And there's a lot of things that bypass heal block. So is that also going to work? What are your thoughts on this? Obviously, we haven't play tested this at all. So we just got these earlier.
Yeah, I kind of assume like the things that normally bypass heal block are still going to work. I think like, when Brawn steals 40% life, I think something like that would still work. Minerva ult would still work. Apocalypse, Drain. I think Drain might get blocked because I think heal block blocks Drain. But there's other things that bypass heal block. I think even Peter B does at some points. So I do think that will probably still be a little bit of healing there. But it's the Infinity Watch part. She's like, oh, Jesus Christ. All right, so here we go. Let's have, Illuminati goes in there, and now you can't get ahead of them, and now Odin is popping off. Oh, you can mirror it. Okay, well, good luck with the coin flip on the mirrors for stuff. Like, it just seems like not a fun room where it's going to be the biggest, newest, most deadly team is going to come in and be like, I'm untouchable on spawn, and then die is what
hopefully experts like you and Juicy and everyone can figure out a counter for all this stuff.
Nope, done. I'm not feeling it.
All right, Juicy will figure it out. All right, let's talk about war. I really want to talk about these global rules because these, unless you want to talk about these rooms itself, but these global rules are what's interesting to me. On primary hit, if target is attacking bleed, on primary hit, if target has bleed, attacking Nightstalker allies apply trauma, more stats to defending Bifrost allies, more stats to all attacking allies. So Nightstalker's getting the benefit again, and I like the older team, the Bifrost team that people had for a while, still getting a little bit of a boost right now. What do you think of these global rules for Alliance War Chapter 6?
Much more tamed compared to Chapter 5 where we have the Hero Spider-Verse. Right?
Oh, I'm glad that is over.
Yeah,
well, one more week, then it's over.
Yeah, me too. I'm happy about that. I think a lot of people will be a sigh of relief for that. There is some concern, like, hey, this is no more. There's no theory crafting for the rest of these rooms. Like, the rest of the rooms are kind of interesting. I think Cargo Bay got a nice buff where it's giving even more stats to non-mythic mystic characters, so more buffs to the Nightstalkers there.
Yeah, and a lot of mythic bonuses on these rooms. So
yeah, and then I think Medbay is flipping bleeds into offense up potentially. So that's something new there too. So there's a couple new things here, but it's way tamed down compared to the last season, which I'm excited for because right now, like the new teams plus the amazing plug and play characters we have, Ares, Skrull, Mephisto, Odin, Black Knight, America Chavez, Dorm. Like there's so many crazy plug and play characters with these new teams that are already crazy. I think we need a step back from the over extensive possibilities to kind of feel out what's happening. And then maybe next season they can amp it up again.
So as a more hardcore war player than I am, because I'm in a casual war alliance, we just got 10 attacks and then done. Are you feeling these rules? Are these good rules? I mean, you like them better than Spider Society, but are they good rules or would you wish for some changes as far as the global and some of the rooms that you see?
I'm breathing a sigh of relief because of spiders. Like I want my Superior 16 back. I want my Apocalypse back. I don't want to have to use Undying here. Like I'm excited to see what those teams can do against the newer teams. And I'm happy we're not getting like Bifrost ally or Bifrost characters getting 400% stats, save your own spawn, speed up on spawn, offense up, disrupt. They gain empowered that makes them all Thanos endgame. Like I'm happy that we're not going to get something crazy like that.
20's cool. 20's cool. 20's cool.
Yeah, 20's good enough.
All right, let's talk about the candy store. That's a big thing going on this month. I've been purchasing all these awakened abilities and sometimes even refreshing these. That's pretty much all I've been purchasing. Once in a while, if I'm trying to get the milestone, I purchase these. I don't think they're good value outside of that unless you're really trying to push for the milestones.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what are the best and worst purchases that you see in these stores? Orange Gear, tier gear, some character shards, crimson gear, or some of the top row stuff?
So everything below the crimson gear, don't touch. Like the character shards, no. Teal, no. Gold, no. Yeah, it's all farmable. Even if you're currently doing the chase for Skrull, the crimson gear is crazy. So my mid game account has been in the global section of DD7 right now. Because of this store, I can finish Dark Dimension 7 now. I have all my characters done. I was able to farm pretty much exclusively. I got like the carbon or whatever the ballistic weave is I needed for Rogue. Gotcha. I got what I needed for Iron Man, and then I just farmed the uniques, and now my mid-game account is going to unlock Mephisto.
These uniques are really, I just saw these uniques are really good value. 25K for 5 of them. They cost a lot if you're buying them with gold, and yeah, this spending the gold here for the candy to get this stuff is way more economical to get this stuff. I agree. I guess the cutoff, if you aren't in Dark Dimension 7 yet, don't have your characters ready, Crimson Gear is probably the better purchase. If you already have that stuff done, then there's ability material. And these are bad purchases, but if you're like myself, just want to get milestone points for those web milestones, then that's what I would do. Is there anything outside of that you would purchase these for? Because I've gotten nothing good from them. I'm just trying to spend my candy for the milestones.
It's like there's some diamond dupes in there you can get, right, that are going to give you some
gotten all dupes. I've gotten all dupes. I've gotten nothing good.
That's basically it, right? You're going to get dupes, but it gives you direct diamond promo credits, which is nice. But I agree with you that the awakened abilities are really good. I put them in the priority of Blade Ultimate, because it's a game changing for the character, putting blinds on the adjacents that he hits with his ultimate. Then I do Old Man Logan Special, because that's going to give Doc and revive. And then I do Ares Special, because I think it gives him extra damage or clears barrier or something like that. And then I'm focusing on the Gear 219 even after that.
I'm not even ranking them. If I don't have it, I'm buying it. If I don't have it, I'm buying it. Sometimes I'm refreshing it.
That makes sense. The way I see Scopely doing this right now is we have so many awakened abilities that we have just no access to unless you bought them, right?
Yeah.
I think they're going to stockpile it till they have like 50 of them or something like that. They're going to dump them all into the raid store for the elite credits, hoping that people have been using those elite credits for Crimson Gear up till now. They'll put a big price tag on it, and then they'll be able to monetize awakened abilities in that way.
Yeah, I think and that wouldn't be a bad thing, that way. At least it's accessible to everybody. I think that's pretty good. Now let's talk about this cryptic message in the weekly blog post. Some people thinking Captain Britain shards or Captain Britain awakened abilities. It was a bit of tall order, send a king size crumpet to every size commander. So in the spirit of a spooky season, be sure to keep an eye on a candy store as we tee up some sweet new additions coming. See you soon. Captain, I didn't even pick up on that. Chad, I saw some of the comments in my video. Captain Britain, did you pick up on this? Do you think this is Captain Britain coming to candy store? And I would suspect it would be this week. We have no changes so far. So what do you think this means?
I don't even, I missed this. I didn't see this at all.
Okay.
This to me says that Captain Britain could appear in the candy store, his shards or his awakened abilities.
That's what I was thinking once I was clued in on this. I missed the clues, but yeah. That's what it seems to me. Let me know your thoughts, Valley Club, and why, if it is Captain Britain, why isn't he here yet? Because normally when they announce something in the weekly blog post, it's coming that following week.
Start hoarding those candies, I guess.
Hoard the candies. Get some Captain Britain charge, hopefully, or at least, or at very minimum, the awaken abilities. All right, another conspiracy theory that I want to go with you before we talk about these milestones. Red Skull Blitz. I thought maybe Hydra rework. Red Skull rework? Is there something weird coming? I know there's a Thunderbolts movie coming out, and I don't know what Marvel Strike Force is going to do with that because most of the characters are already in the game. Some people think, oh, this is just because he's a spooky character for Halloween. What do you think this means? Hydra rework, something for Halloween? Because normally the blitzes we have are like impactful, or characters released in a year that still are kind of in the meta. I mean, we had Tiger the week before. They're still involved in the war meta. Red Skull, not at all. So Halloween or Hydra rework coming up?
Look, people really want to stretch this to be like a Thunderbolts thing. I get it. The character
is it just Hydra thing? Could it be a Hydra thing?
I don't think so, man. Because so many characters in the Thunderbolts movie we have in game: Yelena, Winter Soldier,
Ghost.
We have all those characters.
Yeah.
They definitely are not going to give us 5 reworked characters for a new team. I think this is just a spooky Halloween thing, and it's cool.
Damn it!
Yeah.
I hope you're wrong. I hope there's a Hydra rework coming. That's way more fun. That's way more fun. All right, let's move on to the Milestone event. A Nightstalker, not that one. The Twilight Vigil.
Yeah.
Ranking rewards, some diamonds for blades, some good ions here to get into Dark Dimension 8. Some pretty nice rewards here as well. What do you think of this event and the leaderboards for it?
Leaderboards are always what they are, right? People love Blade. It's going to be pretty competitive to get the higher end diamonds for him.
Is it worth pushing for these diamonds? Or is it maybe worth getting 2 diamond characters instead of 1 diamond character?
If you're the kind of player who's asking, is it worth it to get diamonds for a character? I got to assume the kind of player that's not maxing that character out right away anyway. So no, it's never worth it. Instead of looking at the diamond on the character, which you can directly promote further down the line. 50
of 50 credits or 1 orb.
Well, no, I would look at the ions. I'd be like, okay, so what are we actually talking about here? Are we talking about trying to push top 1,000 to get him and to throw it in? Then that could be worth it for certain players to go hard. You're probably not the kind of person who's going to be maxing out Blade day one because it's a very rare person anyway. So instead, look at the resources and how is that going to help you get the next Dark Dimension character or just be ready for whatever's coming down the line as far as requirements go, if we ever see something like that. So.
Makes sense. I'm looking at these ions too because I'm trying to get through Dark Dimension. And now that you mentioned Dark Dimension, I am stuck in this freaking hard section right here. How long have you had Odin, and how easy was this node for you? I'll show you where I'm at right now. It is a global hero node. All these darn All these aren't Sentinels and Omega Sentinel, just killing my characters, one-shotting them. How tough was this node for you? And we only have a few more days to the milestones. Am I gonna be able to beat this? I got these team ready. 2 more characters here ready, and then the last section, I have all the characters ready, but I don't know if I'm going to beat it in time. So do you think I'll make it within those 5 days? We got 5 days left on the milestones. Is it possible someone at my level to beat this? I'm thinking no, but unless I spend thousands and thousands of power cores, which I'm not going to do.
Talk off recording, because I don't know which characters you have, but I beat it day 1, Valley. I beat it within 5 hours.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I saw these characters, so I brought these. I had Gambit. I have crappy characters. My characters suck.
Yeah, they do.
And I got a tiny Shuri. I got a tiny Hagman. I brought characters. Yeah, I didn't bring in characters for Dark Dimension. I brought in characters for After Dark Dimension. So my team sucks. My team sucks. My team sucks.
That is actually the smart thing to do, though, right? Like, yeah, you're struggling, but that's the smart thing to do.
Unless I want those milestones. Unless I want the milestones. But yeah, I brought in characters for After. I brought in bad characters.
Yeah, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, man. That next node's worse.
Oh, I was hearing on chat that it's better. Okay.
Yeah,
so
the next node is worse.
Let me know where you guys are at. Are you going to be getting maybe not all of these milestones, but hopefully a lot of these milestones to Valhalla. Hopefully you got a lot of these rewards here, but yeah, I'm probably not going to get it. Yeah, I'm not going to spend those thousands of power cores to do it.
Chill. I mean, hopefully you can maybe at least get to 10 to get the 6-star, because
I don't want to spend dark promotion credits. That's what I want to not do. That's what I don't want to do.
Yeah.
So obviously your big account has Odin already. Where are you with your other accounts?
Oh, I just finished City Hero section, and I'm nowhere near ready for City Villain section, because, man, these leaderboards, it seems like it's not as competitive as it used to be to get top 1,000, but to get top 1%, there seems to be a very, very big slew of players that are very engaged right now. So unless you're hyper engaged, it's getting tough out there for the little guys, for sure.
Yeah, and if you're trying to rely on these ranking rewards, it's probably not going to pay out in time. This ends in 4 days. This ends in 5 days. Usually they don't pay out in 24 hours. It's probably going to come right as this ends. So if you're trying to get there, don't rely on these ranking rewards for this. That went way longer than I thought, brother. DorkyDad. It is always fun chatting with you. I mean, it's been a while since I've chatted with anybody. That's why I'm so excited. Good or bad, I love talking about this game with anybody that knows about this game. So, yeah, the final thoughts of the week, brother.
Final thoughts of the week is, man, they are starting to roll out BattleWorld news officially, which is super exciting, man. I am ready for some hard PvE content. I'm excited. Let me peel back the curtain a little bit. Maybe skirt the line of that NDA. The developer that we talked to about BattleWorld, we gave our feedback, seemed incredibly knowledgeable. He seemed like he was able to, on the fly, add, remove, tweak, adjust things. And that, to me, is a huge step up from like the very static raid stuff that we've had, right? So I'm comfortable that in that person's hands, BattleWorld could be something insanely special. So I'm really excited for that.
And I'll peel back the curtain a little bit as well. You gave us a lot of feedback. It seems like a lot of that feedback was taken and implemented in what is going to come. So I'm curious to see how good that the final version of BattleWorld that's actually released is going to be, because yeah, it sounds very cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited for it.
Me too. All right. Thanks, guys. I hope you got some value from this video. Lots that we discussed in this video. And if you did get some value, leave the video a like. It is free for you. Tremendously helps at the ValleyFlyin channel. Make sure you check out brother DorkyDad. He has some really, really awesome content. A lot of theory crafting, a lot of helpful gameplay, and a lot, that one. Zombie Scarlet Witch, guys. All right. Are you ready for a fist bump, brother Dorky?
It's been too long, my guy.
It has been too long. All right. Are you ready for it? All right. Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin, DorkyDad. Out. Have a great rest of your day, guys.